The Book of Patterns. This is your present diary of spell weaving. As you learn new drafts, record the threads in this volume for future reference and study. Not all of the drafts listed here will be encountered in your travels. Most viewers actually use fewer than a dozen drafts in their entire lifetime. Nevertheless, by familiarizing yourself with the knowledge in these pages, you will be better prepared to deal with the events unforeseen by the elders. A wise spellweaver always writes in pencil. Opening. This fundamental draft is traditionally the first one taught to novice spellweavers. Once mastered, it may be spun into tarpaulins, theater curtains, or any covering that must be whisked aside on command. ACAD. I'm not going to sing it. No. Dyeing. This draft was perfected by the dye chemists of the one-socket chapter, who slaved for hours over steaming pots to satisfy the cleric's appetite for the colorful vestures. Originally woven into all types of fabric, the applicability of the dyeing draft has diminished over the course of centuries. Now it works only on wool. Summoning. Chiefly spun by the elders in those rare instances where a member's physical presence is required in the sanctuary. The draft might be perceived by its recipient in many different ways. It most often takes the form of a small, luminous spheroid, referred to as children's stories as a message nymph. Tongues. The pattern of tongues was first spun into the dinner placemats at the 423rd conclave of the guilds held at the Elstree in 7610. For the first time, the guild delegates could understand each other's speeches. This innovation was widely praised until the undertaker was overheard insulting a florist. Both guilds were plunged into a bloody war, lasting 500 years. Straw into gold. When times are lean, the elders may invoke this draft to generate extra revenue. Its use is strictly regulated by the treasurer of the guild to prevent inflation. Other guilds, ignorant in the ways of the spellweaving, have concocted a variety of outlandish fairy tales involving this rather elementary weave. Templar was discovered by a reckless and now very dead spellweaver who directed the threads of a rending upon a thought to be dormant volcano. Eagerly sought after by the guild of the seismologists, this extremely dangerous draft is included here only for reference. Its spinning has been forbidden by the guild since 7331. Rending. The inventors of this innocent draft could not have imagined how badly it would be abused. The Guild of Embalmers originally licensed the draft for tearing rags into long strips. When the embalmers were disbanded in the year 6529, a legal battle awarded the rights to the Guild of Carrier politicians who employed it to shred the commerce. The secret wandered from one unscrupulous guild to another, until it ended up among the assassins, whose uses for rending are too horrible to describe. Night vision. The threads of this distinctive and beautiful draft are extrapolated from the song of the nocturnal birds. At one time, night vision was prized by the Guild of Miners, whose legendary underground realm was chiefly illuminated by luminous tapestries bearing our seal. Tragically, the man fell off after the great earthquake of 7331. Healing. In volume 19 of her Brief History of the Guild of Weavers, Guild Press, Third Elder Lazy Kate documents the way bandages were treated with healing as early as here. The four threads have evolved far beyond their original form. They can now be spun into virtually anything which needs rejuvenation, with the notable exception of the spellweaver's own body. Shrinkage. Many simple fabrics contract when exposed to moisture or heat. Studying this phenomenon, the ancient weavers isolated the threads that caused this natural shrinkage and soon developed a draft to weave the effect into any material object. We vary in its use. Once spun, the shrinkage threads can never be unwoven. The draft of desire has its origin in the primitive days of our community, when it was used to lure unsuspecting passerby into guild shops. When spun upon a creature or person, it warps the threads around the spellweaver so that he or she resembles whatever thing the victim desires most. The illusion is quite fragile and impossible to maintain for more than a few moments. And after my waterproofing, some here expedition of 5th Elder Spindleshank to the rainforest, which the lesser axebridge yields to this practical draft, which shields any fabric from the effects of the moisture. The poison galoshes panic of some here almost resulted in a permanent ban of the waterproofing, until it was revealed that magazine test records have been rigged by the Guild of Umbrella. Reflection. This draft was commissioned by the Guild of Dancers to expedite costume changes for the 1500th anniversary performance of the classic ballet Orleans. When properly invoked, the spellweaver immediately assumes the appearance of the being the draft is spun upon, and vice versa. The 4 threads are based upon the mating ground of the slit-throated chameleon. Terror. This draft reweaves the spellweaver's appearance into a form drawn from the deepest anxieties of the being the threads are spun upon. In effect, it turns you into the thing the recipient fears the most. Terror works only on sentient beings, but its potency more than makes up for its limitation. It is approved for limited therapeutic use by the Guild of Physical Therapeutics. Folding. The archaeological evidence suggests that the folding was never supposed to be spun above the fabric of space. Instead, the inventors seem to have been more concerned with the management of laundry. No faster or more convenient way has been found to move a spellweaver from one place to another. Caution must be exercised when folding a section of a space already folded by another spellweaver. Careless spinning can create an uninhabitable wrinkle zone, such as the Gainsborough's blind spot. Invisibility. When spun upon a person or a group, invisibility frays the focus of their vision, rendering the spellweaver quite difficult to see. The provenance of this draft is uncertain. It seems to have been acquired, under questionable circumstances, from a guild of shepherds whose genius of the art of stealth is probably unrivaled. Confusion. The reason why this unusual draft was first developed is lost in time. Revisionists claim that it was spun into the cheaper fabric sold at the guild shops in an attempt to undermine the confidence of bargain hunters. Whatever its origin, confusion potency has not diminished over time. One spin leaves a victim helplessly bewildered until the spellweaver is safely out of sight. Twisting. The origins of this ancient draft are lost in history. The earliest references to it are woven into the foremost hem of the long tapestry, beside threads depicting the manipulation of flax and yarn by hand. Tradition has it that the 4 notes were derived from the rhythmic squeak of the first elder swell flax on spindle. Shaping. Only a handful of weavers possess the concentration necessary to shape a material substance. The threads of this draft must be spun with unusual single-mindedness before the pattern will yield. Even then, a successfully shaped object may revert to its original form if the draft is not rewoven periodically. Warmth. What weaver has but Weaver has never been wrapped in the cozy threads of the warm draft. Second only to Aphrodisia in popularity, they are often sold together. Warm has been a staple of our guild for much of our recorded history. Even Athene Gauls covered feels as substantial as a Penumbran quilt after a single application. Sleep. It would be difficult to find a pillow, baby bonnet, or a sleeping bag that has not been imbued by the soothing properties of this popular draft. The Guild of the Nannies required its use in all household fabrics, and the anesthesiologists have approved for industrial strength version of an alternative to chloroform. Aphrodisia. The Guild's quick rise to prosperity and influence was due to a very large part of the success of the bestseller. Fabrics woven with the threads of Aphrodisia are guaranteed to soften the heart of even the most indifferent love interest. Only the elders are privileged to know the true origin of the draft. Rumors of a secret affair between Second Edward Wilfast and a member of the Guild of Orgianists are malicious and completely unfounded. Silence. Silence was hailed as a welcome relief for the first time parents and dwellers in college dormitories. Fortunately, our guildmasters are too often hired to spin these streets in situations of doubtful appropriateness. The worst offender is the Guild of Conductors, whose members frequently impose a draft of silence over the audience before a concert. Emptying. The contents of almost any filled container might be instantly unraveled with his hand in the draft. Before its development, circa 4,200, the streams of wound-socket run green with the discarded dyes of the chemists. Avoid the temptation to spin emptying upon lakes or clouds. Its range is deliberately limited to prevent catastrophes such as the double deluge of some year, for which the guild admits no responsibility. Unmaking. Novices are often impatient to acquire the undeniably dramatic ability to unmake physical objects. Luckily, these volatile threads lie well beyond the grasp of all but the most mature spellweavers. Entire armies can and have been disembodied by the strands of some awesome power of unmaking. Let us hope we are never again called upon to demonstrate our craft in this manner. Extinguishing. Open flames are easily smothered with a draft of extinguishing. It entangles the thread of oxygen and fuel within a conflagration almost instantly, with few if any side effects and very little smoke. The Guild of Firefighters awarded us with their plaque of distinction for the development of this safe, fast-acting treatment. Sharpening. Scissors, pins, and knitting needles are the usual benefactors of this simple draft. In ancient times, however, warriors often submitted their blades to our guildmasters for treatment. A formal protest by the blacksmiths resulted in the whetstone bridge treaty, which specifically prohibits the use of the sharpening draft on weapons of war. Blessing, also known as Casino's Bane. Blessed items acquire a charmed state of probability which manifests itself as good luck to laymen. Use of this draft outside of the guild is restricted by the Emeric Agreement, which coincidentally supplies our treasury with an ample endowment from the Order of Statisticians. Move, please. Thanks. Yay. And this is the final draft. The Transcendence. Few indeed are the weavers who have successfully spun this world. Most subtle and mysterious expression of our art. Transcendence dissolves the ties that bind or threads into the pattern, elevating mind and body into the undefined state of existence. Transcendent beings are said to assume the form of birds, constellations, or even sunspots. Because corporal punishment is forbidden in our guild, transcendence is occasionally used as a means of humane banishment, but only for the most unforgivable infractions of the rules.